Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
The Print of the Cuff, presented by IIFL Wealth and Asset Management, powered by K. Raheja Corp, corporate partner AU Small Finance Bank, in association with Global Insurance Brokers, in alliance with Jindal Steel and Power Limited and Indraprastha Polo Hospitals, airline partner SpiceJet.
On Off the Cuff today, among my youngest friends, Chetan Bhagat, who keeps on getting younger. And Chetan, since I last saw you, which was maybe about 3 years back, you've grown about, 10 years younger. What exactly have you done to yourself during the pandemic, during the lockdown?
Well, thank you so much. Firstly, for having me. This is the first time we are doing this on Zoom. I've never spoken to you sitting down. Do you know? I've only done walk the talk with you. So this is the first time in my life I'm sitting down. Thanks for the compliment. I think COVID really made it happen for me because I was traveling too much and I was stuck in Singapore when the first time COVID lockdowns hit and everything was closed. And the only way you could go out and not wear a face mask was if you are running. Only if you run, you are allowed to remove your face mask. Right. So I don't like face masks much. Nobody does. So I went out and I said, okay, let me at least start jogging so that nobody stops me. And through that, I developed the running habit. So I ran and ran and ran. And I think I ate the old me who could have eaten this me, So I think there's a loss of weight. And also I was sleeping better because I wasn't traveling much. I was eating better. Funnily enough, Shekhar, you will not believe this, but I have more hair now.
Now that,
See, I knew.
I should have checked out with you much earlier.
Yes.
But somebody offered me a free hair transplant. And somebody said, we'll give you a free hair transplant and nobody would know that you lost all your hair. And you will look absolutely young. And then we'll just say that you are among our clients. So
your picture will be at the entrance.
Yeah. So I said, listen, that's a great idea. I'd love to have a full mop of hair again. And that too free of cost. But what will happen if my dogs and cats refuse to recognize me?
Yeah. Or your phone doesn't open.
Yeah. My life will be finished. So I'm quite okay the way I am. But this is a new one. If you say, this will be the best advertisement for exercise and running. If you say that this actually makes your hair grow again.
So it's not like a hair transplant. It's not like you're going to have a hair transplant level of hair growth, but the hair fall definitely decreases. Yeah. It's not just exercise, it's also sleeping. I think how many hours do you average a night, Shekhar?
Maybe 5.5, 6, like that.
Yeah. I don't know what is this new fashion in Delhi. Everybody's working too hard and you need to sleep 8 or 9 and then hair comes.
Yeah. Okay. So we know, let's get this out of the way. I know that, everybody thinks that everything is now a book promotion. Yeah. So Ethan and I talk, book may be an excuse sometimes, but it's not.
It's just, yeah. No.
And Chetan, your books don't need promotion. Your books go around the world anyway, and I think your publishers are busy with reprints. So there we are. This is Chetan's new book, 400 Days. He's got it by his side, so I'll put it away. Chetan, before we get started, what is this book and how is this different from the rest?
Yeah, so this is a book about which I wrote in the lockdown. I think it is my best book because I have never written in such a focused manner in my entire life. I was either working in banking or I was traveling and writing and things like that. But lockdown book is a different quality. It's a book which is a story of a missing child in Gurgaon. A child goes missing. It's the mystery story. And the mother goes looking. Nobody in her family now looks for her. And she goes to a detective. And it's an infidelity story where she actually falls in love with the detective who's searching for the daughter too. So it's a love story. And it's a missing child story. So it's just a thriller love story, you can call it. But it brings out one issue more relevant for the print is it brings out the issue of internet security for kids. We don't allow our kids to talk in the balcony to a stranger niche. We won't allow in the park. हम हमेशा बोलते किसी से बात नहीं करनी. But do you know who's talking to your child on the internet? On the phone. And today phone is a compulsion. Everybody is doing school on the phone. 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Who's talking to them? Literally anybody can send a message. And it's not just privacy, adult controls or like those parental controls or things like that, because those only cut the bad apps. But what if someone sends a message on Instagram or an email? I mean, you can't cut Gmail or Instagram. So that issue has not been discussed as much as we should be discussing as to how vulnerable our children are. So I think this book also brings that out.
Is that also provoked or inspired a little bit by the fact that you have growing children now? You are a parent.
Yeah.
Worries?
Absolutely. And grown-ups are not immune, but children are especially addicted to the screens. I mean, they love it, and they take it as they will listen to what is being said on the internet more than what their parents say, for sure. And, if you have a home where you are not listening to the child, or emotionally you're not close, and the child needs something, it's very easy for someone to start talking to your child. It could be my children, it could be someone else's children. And I think with girls, it's even more. I mean, not that boys are immune, but so I think, yeah, it did get me worried that every child has this device in the pocket, which is a gateway to their mind, and anybody with malified intentions can reach them. And as a parent, I feel we are not discussing it enough.
Yeah. That's a good point. So I will keep taking questions from our subscribers. I notice many of them are also watching this live. So this Padmakshi K, who wants to know, because you talked about the book, what inspired you to write suspense and mysteries?
Yeah, I am, I compete not with other books. I don't compete with other writers. I compete for attention of the young people, how to take their attention away from apps like YouTube, from Instagram. And it's really hard to do that with a book today. Trust me, it was always hard to sell books.
Not as long as they are watching the print.
Yep. No, print is awesome. And I have a YouTube channel, and I've been part of movies, and I think they are amazing mediums. But, books have their place.
Right.
And it's really hard now to get somebody to close an app or a video and read a book. And I think you need stories which are more gripping, which have more layers to them. So I thought a mystery where it's a whodunit or what happened added to a love story brings that extra layer of wanting to keep turning the page. So it's really a device to get people into the book more, to make the book more gripping, honestly. And of course, something new for me. I've done so many love stories in the past, and I thought, why not try this? And you're seeing this in the web series also. There is a lot of thrillers. There's a lot of people trying to grab your attention. So it's, you can say, a way to make the story more interesting.
Yeah. So did you have to discover this hidden Chetan inside you?
Yeah. Well, I had to read.
Talk about mysteries and crime, because that's not what you've done all this while.
No, I have not done. And I don't, love story I can write. I've done love before, but crimes I haven't done.
Crime you haven't done. As in you haven't written.
Written and done also, right? Love. I've been in love. I've fallen in love. I know the feeling of love. I know the feeling of being rejected. I know all that. But how does a murderer feel, and how does that feel? How do I know without doing a murder? So that is difficult. But I've read, I had to read a lot of books on how to write thrillers. Honestly, I had to learn. I had to read a lot of thrillers. I had to read the classics, Alfred Hitchcock to Agatha Christie to everything. And I think that really helped me come up with this, because this is a new avatar. Yes, it's not something I was known for doing.
So do you believe in genres? And if
No.
you do, then what's your genre?
No, in fact, we are, Shekhar, always struggling when I had to market this book. This book has a missing child story, but it also has an infidelity story. A mother falling in love with the detective who's married. And I was like, how do we market the book? As a missing child or that? It's a Chetan Bhagat book. So if there is a genre I believe in, it's the Chetan Bhagat genre.
And
I know it's very pompous to say that.
How do you describe that genre?
Fun, light, Indian, gripping, contemporary, simple, humorous, whatever you call it. It needs a word because there is no word for it. So,
yeah. So, but you said it needs a word. There's no word for it. Try and find a word. You're a wordsmith.
I think fun, reading for fun, entertainment. I have no problem admitting that. But if you are able to entertain people by books today, I think that's amazing. So it's entertainment. Entertainment, as that famous line you keep saying.
Yes, from Vidya Balan. Okay, dirty picture. Now, you draw extreme reactions.
Yes.
Extreme as in one, brilliant reactions, and those are from your consumers.
Yes.
Consumers, fans who buy your books by the million, and that matters. But you also draw extreme reactions from the other side. And what is he writing? This is not literature. Look at his phraseology. Look at the language he uses. There is no turn of phrase. I mean, you don't pass the Salman Rushdie test, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't want to. Thankfully,
this is what the Bengalis at some point. I think Jyoti Basu, if I remember correctly, used that expression "up Sanskriti." That is sort of.
Yeah. So
No
yeah,
level
I'm
of-
not that. My aim was to make. I feel if you love writing and if you love books, you want everybody to read books. But India typically had English was a field like a domain of a few people, and English reading was even fewer people. And all you had to do was read 5 books in English, and you were suddenly in the upper echelons of society. You were a different person. I mean, I read English books. I have. I don't know. I never planned it this way, but I have managed to change that, and now everybody's reading. Now I thought these people will be happy that everybody's reading. They claim to love books, but it kind of displaces their throne. It displaces their achievement that I read books. Now everybody's reading books. Every corner of the country, people are reading books. So the only way they can kind of justify that, I think, but they're reading Chetan Bhagat, and Chetan Bhagat doesn't count. But if you say 1,000,000 times Chetan Bhagat doesn't count, you've made him count, And Shekhar, we've reached a point in our life where this kind of stuff doesn't matter. People also say Shekhar Gupta is not a journalist. Okay. What do you say now? ठीक है फनु की
कुछ और करना तो आंदा नहीं.
Yes. At some point it just becomes facetious to say when someone has so much track record, so much body of work, and I have a body of work. It's 10th book now. Most people write 1, 2 famous books. All 10 books, they're still talked about. People still remember 2 States or 3 Idiots or 5 Points. Someone is still remembered. So I think I've made my place. So, and old age teaches you one thing, not to get worked up. And I think that's fine. Unki apni wo apni jagah hai. But these people are quiet now, Shekhar. I'm very thankful for Corona for one thing. The lit fests have stopped. Because these people, that Bhadralok or whatever Up Sanskriti you said, the biggest platform was the lit fest. Wo hun band ho gaye hain. So now
Up Sanskriti is what they sneered at. But not lit fest have stopped. Yeah, that's right. But
so they're not.
Can I ask you to shut up? So shut up, Chetan. Don't say that age teaches you something, because you can't count age as one of your advantages. Age is on my side, not on your side.
I'm 47. It's hardly a मतलब खिलती कली ना.
नहीं वो ठीक है. अभी ये कली जब तक फूल बन के खिले, इंतजार.
Okay, fine.
याद है ना?
I'm feeling. I know.
आपको याद है. अच्छा, तो ये you talked about technology, and you talked about how everybody is getting addicted to digital screens. So we actually have a very smart viewer who's asking me to ask you. He's Vivek Tripathi, head of commercial banking at AU Small Finance Bank. And he says, there is a badlav in the reading style of people, with many opting for digital subscriptions or ebooks rather than buying physical copies. Is it the new normal now, considering it's convenient and eco-friendly?
Oh, ebooks is still reading. Reading articles on the web is still reading. I am not in the paper business. Okay, I'm not trying to promote paper or ink, Point is to read, which is important. You can read on I have switched to a Kindle now, and I do, of course, physical books. I still mildly prefer physical books, but I'm also enjoying my Kindle. I like reading articles on the web. I love the newspaper also. But reading builds your imagination, is the only thing that builds your imagination and builds your focus. And without imagination, you can't function in life. It's not just for creative people. If I tell you, where do you imagine your career 5 years from now, 10 years from now? If you have no imagination, you won't be able to visualize only. So I think reading, if you are reading ebooks, amazing. If you're reading all this, these are just mediums. I do think they are the future. I do think so. It's because once you get a Kindle, like I'm right now in Singapore, and there's some books I wanted, and they're not here in the physical store, and I can get it in a second in my Kindle. I can pick up. I don't have to keep searching for the page. There's just too many advantages. So yeah, it is the future. Even audiobooks is good in a way.
That's right. In fact, I've also, I think a friend of mine suggested Audible to me, and I've taken it, and it's quite something. I mean, okay, I don't go for long walks, but it's very useful. So I'll not let you go away from this LitFest business. What's the issue with LitFests?
Well, the issue, I don't have any issue with LitFest, firstly. And two LitFests I do attend, and they are the Times of India LitFest because I write for them, and they are an amazing newspaper. Whatever people might say, I don't think there is anyone who comes close to that in impact in the country.
We shall pass that, huh?
I know your expressed loyalty will never go. Bapre, you're one Purana Ashika. So, and then Express is also great, but I didn't write for them. I write for Times. Times is doing his own thing. And then the Bangalore LitFest, because my editor, Shiny Anthony, runs it. So I have attended a lot of LitFest, but what happens is the stated purpose is to take reading to the people. But what ends up happening is more exclusivity, more elite gatherings, more of the same thought processes being, recycled. If somebody says something which is different in view, they are not encouraged. I am not. I am. You and I are both. We both get beaten by the right wing and the left wing, right? We know this. हमें तो एक चप्पल यहाँ पड़ती है, यहाँ पड़ती है.
नहीं देखो ना, because right wing is in one set of bunkers, left wing is in the other set of bunkers. We walk in the wide open space in the middle, so you get caught in the sniper's alley from both sides.
Yeah. So we are getting hit. So I'm not trying. But what I like for these LitFests, oftentimes a lot of the representation is only the left wingers. You don't see that many right wing voices. I mean, this is fact. It's not my opinion. It's a fact. You can compare any panels. So I think they're not representative. They're not trying to go to the masses. There's a lot of judgments that happen, and they're not done right. And it becomes one big party of the elite. And it's just my opinion. That's not okay. And that's not what the intention with these was started as. But slowly it becomes, the curation becomes who you know, and they'll call people who have no connect with people. And then they will judge Chetan Bhagat over there. And therefore you are judging readers of Chetan Bhagat, which is bizarre because you're trying to reach the same readers. So I just find it very fake. And yeah, I think they just need to be modified. Like, I think some LitFests do get it right, so I should not broad brush it. But the LitFest should have the right intention, and the execution should also be that we want to encourage reading in people. We are not here to, run a colonial party. And especially when you are not even able to get sponsors. The sponsors are only coming for the people, not for you. So there are a lot of issues on that I have.
Well, this is a separate argument, which I think I will discuss with you at some point, because I find that the whole publishing business, the literary business in India has become too incestuous. Some people write, the same people write, the same people review, the same people publish, the same people become agents. So in fact, it's like a medium-sized Delhi party, the same 200 people.
It's really bad. And I'll tell you, for example, and again, it doesn't really matter to me, but a few years ago, Delhi University had a course, and my books are there in, by the way, many universities. So it's not a new thing. But in Delhi University, a course called Popular Indian Fiction. So that course name is important. One of the books was my books because it's popular Indian fiction. 108 professors wrote and said, why is his books being included? Now, that is a short way to make sure students read my books. So thank you very much for that. But because if the professors say you can't read them, then students are definitely going to read them. But I shudder to think, if you can't, it's like saying there's a popular Indian films course and you are not going to put any Salman Khan or Shah Rukh movie in it. What literature are they teaching to the students? What is literature? It is simply the world, a mirror to the world, art expressed in words. It is not a prize. It is not a hierarchy. Indians love making caste systems in everything. And this is the ultimate Brahminical caste system that happens, and it plays out. And actually that has led to the politics we are in today. It's not left-wing, right-wing politics. It's the politics today is, I think one of your Veer Sangvi interviews, he was also saying, it's the people who are rejecting this colonial, elitist, holier than thou. We know better because we speak better English, because we read 5 books that you haven't read attitude. This is what annoys Indians a lot. And I think that's really what you often see at these platforms. So I used to go there. I used to feel that maybe I need to go as part of, then only I'm a writer if I'm going here. But then I said, like you said, I've been working on my physical health. I've also been working on my mental health. And I thought my mental health is not good when I go to these places. So I won't be going.
So you are saying your mental health is not good when you go to lit fests?
Yes. Because I can feel the judgments. I can feel that people here are fake. It makes me depressed that this is the industry I work in. So
yeah,
I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So how do you slot yourself as a popular fiction writer, as the university course said, or now as a public intellectual? Because I also have a question from Chaitra Sagar, who wants to know, why does Chetan Bhagat think his editorial is worth op-ed page real estate in a big newspaper, the biggest newspaper, as opposed to a competing experts, well-considered opinions? What does he think of the opinion economy? That's an interesting one. I call it the opinion industry. What does he think of the opinion economy and how it affects genuine discourse?
Well, firstly, I am not making the decision to put myself on the edit page. I wish I could. But I don't own the Times of India. I wish I did, but I don't, and they decide who is. And I've been writing for them for the last 13 years. So I must be doing something right. And that is, my columns are amongst the most read, most commented on, most discussed. Many times they have led to impact. So it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. I often tell these people like you, write an article, write it. Don't just, when you talk of, you don't like the opinion industry, or you don't like people giving their opinions, that's also an opinion. Put it down nicely. Put a nice article on why I don't deserve that column space. You won't be able to do it. It's easy to comment, but it's very hard to put a piece of writing together, put paragraph after paragraph. It's much harder than you think. So I think firstly, people underestimate the effort it takes in writing a column, a simple column also, the thought that goes. And I think I've just stood the test of time. People like reading my columns, and the paper therefore likes to publish them. The opinion industry is not necessarily wrong. We need it, Shekhar. We need it because the world is full of information today. Curation, they've said curation is the new big thing. People don't listen to Spotify because all the songs are there, or YouTube doesn't work big because of it's the recommendations that are underrated. YouTube algorithms are damn good. They tell you because how will you search from the sea of content? How will you search from the sea of songs? So what do you make sense? So why is Clutter the Clutter your most popular item on the print channel? Why? Because information is everywhere, because people literally want to cut the clutter. And if done right, the opinion industry can add a lot of value. The problem is it's not done right. People who write opinions are not objective, not fact-based, not nuanced. And that's where they fizzle out. So some of the experts, these people are saying who should be writing the columns, they will fizzle out because of that.
Yeah.
Because they don't maintain this standard.
In fact, I agree with you. And that's been my pet peeve also, that the opinion industry is a great idea, but too few people control it, which includes me as well. Right? There's about 30-40 people who hold forth on everything.
We control, Shekhar. You and I, what we control. Something else only is controlling India. Look at the top news. Look at where people are thinking. Look at what we are doing to ourselves.
If you look at the op-eds in the main publications, it's 30-40 bylines, right?
That is true.
On politics, on economics, on cricket. Cricket, in any case, all of us have a birthright to hold forth on.
But what is stopping new voices from emerging? Why sit and cry and lament on these? There are YouTubers today, Shekhar, who get more views than you.
Oh, absolutely. And I watch them. And I watch them to see how they are doing it. Because, it's a younger people's medium. And I'm learning all the time, and it's fun.
In general, Shekhar, I would like to tell people, don't whine about why this person has this, isko ho gaya, the system is rigged, the whole 40. Just adapt. Shekhar had to adapt to YouTube at this age, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Do you think he really likes to come and put the camera on and put the mic? ये क्या है ये? Like, एक संपादक थे ये. अब संपादक जी क्या क्या करना पड़ रहा है? लाइट देखनी पड़ती है, ऑडियो देखना पड़ता है. But we have to do it because that's the job. He can sit and say, "Arey, why these young people have come? What are they doing? They don't have any editorial, screening, but they are having so many views." They are doing something right, and Shekhar sees those videos to see what they are doing right. I do that. So today there are no barriers. If you are a strong voice, you will be heard sooner or later.
So we've started two things, Chetan, in that direction to try and break this control, this oligopoly. One, our subscribers. So we have a feature called subscriber rights. So our subscribers can write their point of view in 800 words, 1,000 words also. We edit it, fact check it briefly, and publish it. So they have their view with their pictures. And I find that that's among the most read things on the
Wow.
because
So
people suddenly find, and many of these people write very sharp stuff. And the other is something called the campus view. So any bona fide student can write under that feature.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
And 3 or 4 that we select every week we publish with their pictures and also give them a whole bunch of prizes and gifts thanks to our sponsors. So that is just by way of expanding the opinion world and also getting people to get out of this 10-word or 20-word or 140 or 280 character outrage.
Yeah.
कि मैंने बोल दिया, काम खत्म हो गया.
And एक और चीज भी, this belief ना Shekhar that exists that everything should be done by experts. Okay,
Right.
Expert is a thing. कश्मीर का expert होना चाहिए कश्मीर का, and there should be an expert on RBI, and there has to be an expert on vaccination. Now, how do you define expert? If they have gone to college and done the degree, maybe is that it? Now, when you're writing and you want people to read you, one of the biggest expertise you read is writing skills and communication skills.
Right.
And I have that, and Shekhar has that. And these experts may not have it, and the article is going to fall flat on its ground. That's why you think they haven't been tried. They just didn't work. So do not assume that, अरे इसको क्यों मिल रहा है? Or isko kya? Try to find the positive in what is working and why is it working. There is an art of taking any situation, whether it's a war, whether it's demonetization, whether it's Kashmir, and breaking it down and saying these are the pros, these are the cons. You don't need an expert all the time to do that. In fact, analytical skills, you should be able to solve problems. And it's an opinion at the end of the day. And if people are reading it and you're simplifying it, you have good communication skills, that's sometimes of more value than an expert sitting in some library somewhere, which you decide who is the expert.
Yeah. So since you talk about experts, I have Bharat Mane from Shiksha Mandal in Wardha who says, why do you choose to write just populist kind of novels rather than the visionary ones?
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. If you're talking of inspiring stuff, I do. My YouTube channel, guys, is for motivation. There I'm not doing any fiction or love stories. That is pure motivation, where some of the things even I've spoken now about focusing on yourself, self-development. Visionary, I don't know. I mean, I'm humble enough to say that I am not some great person. I just write books for entertainment. I just admitted it. And I love entertainment. I love content. And I love making people enjoy themselves. So that's my limited scope in life. But if you think I can write visionary stuff, thank you. But I am not APJ Kalam Saab.
फिर legend कैसे बनोगे?
Legend. देख ही रहे हो सर, देश में कौन legend है और क्या हाल हो रहा है legends का.
अच्छा, तो आपने बोला मूवीज बनी है, तो बड़ा उससे रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चन है. JD Singh of Zener Maritime Solutions, who says, I think it's safe to say, Mr. Bhagat, you changed the era of English literature at so many levels in India. It became mainstream quick. Now that several books have been made into movies, my question is, how tempting is it to narrate the story, keeping in mind that a movie is possible? Does it add pressure or change the narrative to be more movie friendly?
First of all, I'll answer this. I must say, Shekhar, I've done many forums, but your audience is amazing. They're asking amazing questions.
Next time we'll hold a lit fest only with our subscribers.
This is a lit fest. Nice, this is the better lit fest. This is the real lit fest. So on this movie thing, guys, there is no temptation at all because the movie will be made. It's a Chetan Bhagat ki book. One day somebody will make a movie or a web series out of it, of any story. And when we are making a movie, we can always change the story. We can always adapt it. I don't have to write it for screen. My bigger challenge, like I told you today, is making people pick up the book. This book, people don't see that. People remember the movie because it has songs and things like that. But making people pick up a book, making it a #1 bestseller is no joke today. It's really difficult, And for me, my focus is how can I tell the story in the best way possible that it becomes a great book. जब movie बनानी होगी change कर लेंगे. किसने कहा कि same बनानी है? So it doesn't matter to me, but to people in India have a very strange relationship with Bollywood. Sometimes they're condemning it, and sometimes they put it as this ultimate thing, that the screen is the ultimate end goal. For me, this is the end goal. This is the end. That's a derivative.
So the reason you said that these people who are asking questions will make a very good Litfest audience, I take a note of it. So we'll do something like that. But one reason is they are not judging you. They are not judging you or me. They are genuinely curious. They are genuinely curious.
And they're not getting triggered.
They are not getting... That's a new word that I've heard. I thought angered was fine, irritated was fine, but now it's triggered, right? Unless we say triggered.
Do not get triggered, guys. Really, do not. It's not worth it. To be triggered is not cool. It's not, I don't know who consider it's cool. It shows a lack of emotional control. True leadership, true dominance comes from you, and you are able to take a breath and then compose yourself an answer. Do not get triggered. There is no virtue in it.
So you are still young at 47, but does the name Gulshan Nanda ring a bell?
Of course.
So
people used to compare
Nanda wrote these bestsellers in Hindi in the 70s.
Yes.
Mega bestsellers at railway stations, bus stations. Everybody had them. People all pretended to be reading a Gay or Jaishankar Prasad or somebody, but they were actually reading Gulshan Nanda. And so many of his books became films. I mean,
Rajesh Khanna's career.
Kati Patang, right? And many others. So does that thought ever come to your mind?
Yeah, my publisher R.K. Mehra ji from Rupa used to compare me to him when my first time came out. Ki aap to English jagat ke Gulshan Nanda ho. And then I figured who it is. And then his son, Gulshan Nanda's son is a very successful Bollywood, like a marketing company. Like his son Rahul Randa cuts.
Right.
He cut. So, people may not know this, just an interesting anecdote. They cut trailers of movies. So once you make a movie, that art is a very big art.
I should find him. I should find him just because I was also a fan of Gulshan Nanda's. I also read Gulshan Nanda.
Yeah, so these guys are so cool. They make these promos of the movies that you see.
Inside my chemistry books, right? and Harold Robbins, I think, inside my sort of practical files, because those were a bit thicker. So this is confession time. So if a movie is made on your film, it's actually an acknowledgement that what you're doing works. More people want it.
Yes, of course. And it reaches more people. At the end of the day, no matter how successful a book is, it's in English. It has to be read. Whereas a movie goes to theaters nowadays, of course, OTT, or, it comes on television. It comes. So a movie has a far bigger reach. It's like it truly has, if I'm a household name today, it's because of 3 Idiots, 2 States, things like that. I mean, even there are many people who have not read my books, but only seen my movies.
Yeah. In fact, many of us also, as we were growing up as journalists, we saw All the President's Men first as a movie and then read the book. Afterwards. So that's great. Now, I have a complaint from a veteran, Colonel Vishwanath. Colonel K.L. Vishwanath, who says that you said in a public protest by ex-servicemen, quote, he's using your quotes, and while I have no confirmation, the mob-style social media attacks show there is a political backing to this ex-servicemen's protest. So Colonel Vishwanath wants to know, as a citizen of free India, enjoying freedom of expression, and also being a noted author and a public figure, was this a responsible statement? Do you regret making that comment? I
don't think I made that statement of them being a political. I think but I will tell you what the issue, what had happened, and I was getting, but I don't say things like this is politically motivated. That's just not me. I've never said things like this is politically motivated. And it was not. Shekhar, the issue was a difficult one. It was a column on OROP, one rank, one pension. And we always, veterans, do they deserve more pension? Yes, they do. But when you look at it, and if there's a limited budget, should the money be spent on new soldiers, on the new hires? Should they be given better facilities? Should people who are stationed at the border today be given more, or the people who have retired be given more? And then the equation becomes a little difficult to understand. Otherwise, you can just say, they have protected our country, give them everything they want. But so that is where I said we must compare and contrast and strike a balance between what can be done for the existing people who are to be hired. And many people the top talent is not joining the army today. That also is an issue. So again, nobody wants to talk about these things. So that obviously some ex-servicemen didn't like. I can understand. But the fact is that's how the government is looking at it. And they should, because you can't just you have to see where the money needs to go. And unfortunately, it's not unlimited. So that was the issue. But I didn't say politically motivated.
So Chetan, you lead parallel lives. One is your life as a fiction writer. The other is your life as a public, intellectual. You may
Sir, please, गाली दे लो पर intellectual मत.
अच्छा ठीक है, intellectually कहेंगे, ठीक है.
ठीक है.
दूसरा public debate में, right?
Yes.
So when you got into public debate, when did you realize that you had the potential of becoming such a polarizing figure? And do you enjoy being a polarizing figure? Because anything you write, since we use that expression now, triggers one side or the other.
Triggers. I wanted to, I was a fiction writer doing fine and I'm still doing it. But I thought, let me use my platform of my reach and my writing skills to contribute a little more and to get a little more meaning. Because there's only so much love stories, and Bollywood is great and it's success. But in terms of, can I contribute to some public opinion shaping, if you can call it that? And that has been successful to an extent. But honestly, I never in my dreams thought that I'll become polarizing, because I only try to objectively understand an issue. It's not very different from your cut the clutter model, honestly. A lot of times we have huge overlap in my thinking and your thinking. And I just don't understand. I feel it's pretty basic that there are two sides to an issue. And that's the way you solve it. Even if you are on one side, you're on the right of things, you have to understand why the left feels that way. And if you're on the left, you have to understand why the right feels that way. And until you understand both, you can never find the middle ground. And this, when you're young, you want to believe only one side. You want to be extreme and you think that's how you'll change the world. And as you grow older, I'm not old, older, you realize that it's the centrists who change the world. And centrists sound boring, but they are the ones who actually make change happen. And centrists are not like, they call me Thalika Bangan and they call you Thalika. But I'm like, why? You calling me Thalika Bangan because nobody wants it. But let us say you are Thalika Paneer. Then somebody will eat you. Okay, you are Thalika Paneer, I'm Bangan. Fine. Firstly, I like Bangan, so don't insult Bangan ever. I love Bharta. Fine. But if you're Thalika Paneer, so everybody wants you, you're going to get eaten anyway. At least Bangan ko koi kha nahi raha hai. Take the analogy further. And secondly, I do like Bangan Bharta. It's my favorite sabzi. And Bharta banta rehta hai, mera bhi aur aapka bhi banta hai. I never intend to be polarizing. I want to say uncomfortable things sometimes, which are nobody's saying it. What is the real reason behind things? Not afraid to talk about, take a stance. Like on cracker ban, I took a stance, for example, that, why we suddenly come after crackers in Diwali. Suddenly it becomes very fashionable to say, don't have crackers in Diwali, then whole year you keep polluting. So that some people don't like. So I understand that, but it's part of the job. My job is not to be liked. My job is to create change through writing.
In fact, there should be a Bangan test of age. So as kids, everybody hates Bangan, right? As they grow up, most of them start to like Bangan. So
Bangan is great.
Great. I love Bangan now, but I hate it as a kid. Right? Yeah. Both my kids were caught with the katoris of aloo Bangan hidden in their cupboards someplace with fungus and all. And I think our son used Our son used to describe bangan ka bharta as desiccated rat in tomato puree, right? But we all change as we grow up.
Yeah, in Italian there is a dish called eggplant parmigiano. Eggplant they call bangan eggplant, and that's a beautiful dish.
Well,
in Middle Eastern, baba ganoush is amazing.
Yeah, and Bengalis have bangan bhaja. So as we grow up, we love bangan anyway. So that's this bangan test of growing up, I think, is something.
So maybe we can also say you're too kiddish to enjoy us right now.
That's right.
Hai na?
And let's be bangans as we are. So
we are happy bangans.
That's an important to convert this into a compliment instead of a gali. Now, have you shifted your opinion, say, on Mr. Modi, on the BJP over time? And if so, why?
I have not shifted my opinion on Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah or whatever the top leadership is, because I think they are amazing politicians. They are truly some of the most, and I have seen many, and you've seen even much, much more than me, Shekhar, up close. They are just extraordinarily good.
Can I interrupt you for a second for a little
Sure.
plug? So this is a print mug. This is the only one we have yet made, and I'll send you a set. And the other side it says, did it?
Wow, because politics matters.
Because politics matters. Because without politics, there is no democracy, and without free media, there is neither democracy nor politics.
100%. You know, that you talked about me being polarizing. It was not my intention. My intention is to create change. But then I realized you cannot create change without touching politics.
Right.
You cannot. You have to, you can't just say, cure this and cure this disease and things like that, all generalizations. Someday it is going to get political. So speaking of the government, I think the leader, they are very, very good politicians, and they listen to the people and they understand India better than anybody can. I think I understand India reasonably well, but they are at the next level. And they understand it really well. What has surprised me, Shekhar, is the way Indians have changed. They are merely reacting because if I were in their job, I'd probably be doing the same thing, because I want to stay in power, right? That's the fun part of being politics is what? To get power and stay in it. That's what Indira Gandhi also said, that politics is about staying in power. So they are doing what Indian people want. Now, I did not expect Indian people will turn this way, the way we are right now. They are now saying that we hate the old elite, liberals, Lutyens, whatever, so much that जो कोई अच्छा भी वो बात बोलते थे. I've told you my view on the elites, on the lit fest. So I have no love lost for them. But कई बार गलत आदमी भी अच्छी बातें बोल जाता है. So for example, secularism wasn't a bad thing. What is wrong in secularism? Now it's like saying we don't like those people, so we will hate everything they have said. If the liberals had said कि fitness is a good thing, then we will say कि अब हम नहीं fit होंगे, अब हम समोसे खाएंगे पूरा दिन बैठ के, and we will not exercise because we are against them. So they said secular, so now we don't like secular. In history, in our history of this country, whenever India has been defeated, it is because we were divided. Whenever we have been divided, we get defeated by the British, by the partition, by whatever. And whenever we are one, we win. Whether it's cricket, whether it's Bollywood, whether it is our army, whenever we become one people. You don't like the word secular? Okay. You hate the word secular, find another word, plural, I don't care. Right? But you cannot win as India if we are not together. You may have wonderful reasons to believe, and I'm giving them that thing. They may be very well intentioned कि यार हिंदूज के साथ तो बड़ा बुरा हुआ है, अरे मान गए जी बुरा हुआ है. But the way you divide this country, look at our history, Mughals, British, partition, जहां बटे वहां हारे हैं. So इसमें liberals और non-liberal की क्या बात है इसमें? It's like nationalism. Everybody has to be a nationalist. It doesn't have to be. It's a non-issue. Right? So to think that now because they were bad people, we don't like those people who kind of were elites and they were judging us. Now, कोई अच्छी बात भी वो कर रहे थे, हमें नहीं करनी, हम नहीं करेंगे. That is not the right way of thinking, and that is little bit is happening in India. Now, if that जैसी प्रजा वैसे राजा होते हैं फिर.
और जैसे राजा वैसे प्रजा होती है.
So we have to want. So ultimately, I've seen this government is the one quality of this government is they react to and fix things very fast. When they realize people are not liking something, they don't care about a little bit of embarrassment also. They will bring out a GST rule in 3 days, roll back. Bring out a budget thing, roll back. It's okay. पता लगा नहीं मजा आया लोगों को, वापस खींच लिया. But they literally see at a pan-India level, not on Twitter. They don't care about Twitter. They see pan-India में लोगों को कैसा लग रहा है, which is how it should be.
I mean, this will be very disappointing to people. You break lots of people's hearts who think Twitter is life.
I'll give you facts, Shekhar. I know someone in Twitter and they said India's daily users are 10 million on Twitter. मतलब 1 crore लोग Twitter पे हैं.
Right.
ठीक है, 140 crore का देश है. मतलब 99% नहीं है, thankfully.
इतनों को तो हम रोज टीका लगा देते हैं कोविड का.
हाँ, इतना तो टीका लग रहा है रोज, सही गल है. तो ये तो कुछ है ही नहीं. अच्छा, वो 1 crore जो है, everybody is not political. 80% will not be political. So 20 lakh people are political on Twitter. They can be. That's not India. जो मर्जी कह लो. So on Twitter, you will feel, oh, you are really polarizing, Chetan. Half the people love you, half the people. But in India, it's not the case. Because 99 people are not on Twitter. Same way for politics. The government is very well aware कि ये ऐसे ही हैं, ये थोड़ा टाइम पास कर रहे हैं ट्विटर पे. But उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. The day Indians feel कि कुछ गलत हो रहा है, the government is a mirror. They are going to change. They have changed policies very, very fast. They have put the laws aside. They have announced with big fanfare. So that it is a good thing only, which is a good thing. Not everybody will get, all government will announce something and call it right all the time. But they roll back. But they don't feel, because Indians are happy with this kind of system. They are somehow feeling that ab Hinduo ko insaf milne wala hai. There is a certain set of people who feel that way. But I am telling you, history has shown whenever India was divided, India lost. And whenever India was united, India won. So you pick. United कह लो, secular मत बोलो, जो मर्जी कह लो, पर you एक तो रहना ही है यार.
So where do you see India right now? Do you think it's closer to getting divided again, or you think it's getting united, more united?
It's not close to getting divided. It's still early days. I am not the chintit kind. Again, on Twitter, it is divided. So Twitter passport, agar jiske paas hai, they should be worried. But if you have an Indian passport, you are okay. I don't think it's an issue. And I don't think we are in the crisis mode. But there is a acceptance of this school of thought also, कि divided better है, अलग better है. You know, वो लोग, जब आप ये बोलने लग जाते हैं ना, हम लोग, वो लोग, उन लोग को ये करना चाहिए, हम लोग नहीं है, पर उनका क्या, that is a wrong. That's exactly what the British wanted. That is exactly what we are doing now. Imagine the powerhouse we would have been if there was no partition. Think about it. Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, if there was just one huge thing, where we would be without any fighting. So much defense budget saved for like a 50-70 years on all sides, put into development, where we would be. क्यों? क्योंकि बट गए बस. और आज फिर वही कर रहे हो और सोच रहे हो कुछ बड़ी नई चीज कर रहे हो आप. अब नया होगा, अब नया इंडिया बनेगा. नया नहीं है. This is the oldest trick in the book. So we are still in early days, so we can learn. I am optimistic. I think we will self-correct very quickly. Today we will see it that this is not working. So yeah. And I don't think the people at the top are that divisive as much as people on Twitter are.
Yeah. So these issues like this attack on Mohammad Shami, go to Pakistan, or this the way the Shah Rukh Khan, Aryan Khan issue is played out, like Hindu Muslim. Again on Wankhede, is he Hindu? Is he Muslim? Now suddenly that has become like, that has changed the whole game. That perception of that officer, believe it or not, that suddenly like people are like, oh, acha, like, you know, and it's playing too much, and it's not helpful. It's not helpful. And anyway, for ordinary, like normal people who are not into politics or in journalism, why are you wasting your time on this on Twitter? Why are you putting comments? Why are you fighting? Why are you trying to insult a celebrity and thinking you are bringing them down? Nothing is happening. Can you put this on your resume? Is this something? What are you going to gain from this?
So इससे कुछ नहीं होगा, and it's not like India is getting better like this. So
in fact, you can't put it on your resume, but when somebody is hiring you and HR does ref checks and stuff, the
oh
first
yeah, people have lost jobs. Remember, there have been, like in Dubai, some chef lost, and there's so many cases
the
of one
first thing
tweet can.
is Google your social media history, because
Yeah.
it's in public, and that becomes a problem. So DK Sharma, who's also an ex-military officer, connected question. He says, in the backdrop of your book, Three Mistakes, vis-a-vis the current context of heightened communal polarization, do you think that majority community is overburdened with secularism? That, the burden of saving secularism is put on their shoulders excessively. Do you think there is need for the Muslim community also to stand up for secularism and show that they are equally responsible for maintaining communal harmony?
Of course, everybody is equally responsible. And why is it even a burden? Do you really, why is it burdensome for you to think that all human beings are equal? To think that all my countrymen are the same, no matter what God they pray to or which festival they celebrate? Why is it such a big burden? This is not the Indian ethos. It's like too much of a burden to love everyone. It should not be. That there's a problem right there if you use the word burden. And yeah, I 100% agree that it's not just the Hindus, and that's where maybe I'm different in that way, that I 100% agree that it's not like always the Hindus who have to do it. The Muslims also have to do it, and they do, I think, but it's not like all the Muslims aren't doing it. I mean, what makes you feel that they are not? So in the question itself is an aspersion, which is a little bothersome, that you're assuming they're not doing it.
Yeah. So now finally, a few minutes left, so I can take one odd question from my colleagues. Angana Chakrabarti, if you write a book that describes India's current socio-political situation, what would it be about?
I would write about somewhat of a confused youth, who started off with great aspirations, and somewhere down the line, we achieved a few things. And we raised our per capita from 3,000 to 2,000. That's no mean feat. In 30 years, we have done that. And 2,000 is a decent per capita. Now we don't have abject poverty. We don't have hunger. Even if you saw the migrant labor walking in the lockdown, they were wearing shirt, pants, they had a phone. It was not the India of the 80s, jhopdi way. Right. So we have achieved a lot. But I think we need to go to 10,000, or which is China, or 60,000, which is Europe and US. But we have become very satisfied. Aspirations are gone on making money. क्योंकि now we feel अभी खाना छोले भटूरे तो खा ही सकते हैं.
हाँ.
अभी जरा हिंदू मुस्लिम करते हैं. Because that is what has bothered me more. पैसे वैसे बाद में ना भी बने, इंडिया की ग्रोथ कम हो गई, जीडीपी किसने देखा? So yeah, and then you have your phone to give you entertainment. So it's fine. You can have chole bhature for $1 and you can have free data.
इसको कहते हैं सस्ता आटा और फ्री डाटा. ये सहवाग टाइप जोक है.
हाँ, तो ग्रोथ टाटा,
ग्रोथ डाटा.
हाँ, तो यही हो गया. So we should, एक ना भूख होनी चाहिए, पता है, यूथ में भूख होनी चाहिए. अब उसको आप ऊपर से हमारा इंडियन कल्चर आ जाता है, सिंपल लिविंग, हाई थिंकिंग, कम में रहो, गांधीयन वे ऑफ लिविंग. मेरे को एक बात बताओ, एवरीबडी बिकम्स गांधीयन शेखर, India's GDP will shrink 50%. Do we want that? Because that's what's going to happen.
50% India's GDP will shrink to nothing.
So we are not. So there was a time China said to be rich is glorious. We are precisely at that stage. Maybe we don't have to say to be rich is glorious, but we say it's okay to aim high. It's okay to अपनी औकात के आगे सोचो यार, देश को आगे बढ़ाने का सोचो. If everybody thinks like this, and then they're fighting on Twitter on, how to open a company and how to simplify the company opening, how to cut the license regime, then it's good. ये क्या करे जा रहे हो, नाम हिंदू मुस्लिम, like, and it is happening because we are not hungry anymore. It is happening because chole bhature hain and sasta data hai, and it is just made us satisfied, and we are going to pay the price for this. We will stay. हो रहा है. All our could you have ever thought Bangladesh will have higher per capita GDP than India?
I know. I mean, it's quite an eye opener, and the gap might increase. So I have two last questions. I know you have other interviews. One, Shubhangi Mishra, my colleague, she says, do you think Chetan Bhagat would have been the celebrity he is today if Three Idiots had failed?
I don't know. I was pretty popular. I was fairly popular, but yeah, Three Idiots definitely added to it. But मैंने बहुत ड्रामे किए हैं life में, so you know,
और
like I
करने-
said, और करने भी हैं. And if it had flopped, then it would have been a different journey in life. But
Yeah.
you know, you adapt. It's just I would have figured something else out, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, the last question from YP Rajesh, our managing editor. I can't annoy him by not asking his question because he put two questions. One got preempted because his other question was, what purpose do Litfest serve? That we sort of talked about in detail. So his question, and that's the last one. Who's India's next Chetan Bhagat?
The next Chetan Bhagat will not be called Chetan Bhagat, and the next Chetan Bhagat will not want to be Chetan Bhagat. Because when Chetan Bhagat came, I didn't want to be the next Salman Rushdie. I did not want to be the next Vikram Seth, next Arundhati Roy. I wanted to be the one and only Chetan Bhagat. So the one and only, I don't know, Vikram Singh or Rajesh Kumar is coming, but he doesn't want to be me. So he surely doesn't want to be called the next Chetan Bhagat. He wants to lay his own path.
Well, thank you very much.
I have one question for you.
Bolo.
I started, and this is a genuine question. I started a YouTube channel.
All my questions were also genuine.
This is my personally, I want to know from you is I started a YouTube channel maybe 6 months back actively, and I've been getting success also. And don't please think you are a learner in YouTube and the young kids can teach you. Today, I'm coming to you as a learner. I can do it, but how do you keep consistency? Because there is a burnout, you know, thak jate ho banana ke video, and you've been making one after the other. There are hundreds of Cut the Clutter only, and then National Interest, and there is a whole other, of course, the team is making thousands. So how do you do it?
Well, there is a simple answer to all this. What is the hormone that keeps us going? It's not any hormone that comes out of our pituitary or any other gland in our bodies. It is hormone C, that is hormone curiosity. So if you are curious, then you carry on. So people ask me to come to many places and give lectures on what makes a good journalist. And I say, language, we can teach you how to package a story. We can package it for you. Contacts, we can share our phone books with you, no problem. You just come with curiosity. But if you don't have curiosity, we can't help you. But this curiosity has to continue with you through your life. The day you think that I know everything there is worth knowing, that is the day you become a potted plant and you start vegetating. So you have to stay curious, and I'm learning. In fact, on my YouTube show, Cut the Clutter, it's now actually about to reach 900. I hate to miss it because I know, one, that there are a lot of people who are expecting something. It's always good to have people want something from you. Second, because I always find some new complexity. So when there is a complexity, and it's teaching me a lot, it's making me read up on things. It's making me, I've written about international affairs all my life, but it's now making me read about the rest of the world in the way I would never have understood. I would never have understood the Armenian-Azerbaijan example and how drones changed that war. So everything teaches you something. If you are curious, if that gets you in the gut, then you can keep motivating yourself. That is self-motivating.
That is excellent. Very inspiring. One bonus side small question. What is your latest house take or your take on the UP elections right now?
Well, I've survived all this while without calling any election at all. So I can either give you the example, the answer that.
No, I don't want you to give a prediction because I know that
that any Indian would give you. It depends, right? So I'm not saying it depends, but it is going to be a very interesting election because in UP, in Hindi heartland, since 1989, all elections have worked on one binary. What is the binary? Can you use caste to divide what religion united? Can you use religion to reunite what caste divided? That is Mandir versus Mandal, right? So for more than 30 years, that's been the politics of the heartland. Let us see what happens. in a few months from now, which of the two now prevails? Because last time religion reunited what caste divided, right? This time it's an incumbent who is going out to seek a second vote with the same idea. So let's see if it works or not.
So you are saying it's interesting in the sense that so it won't be a 98 kg versus 38 kg fight. It will be a proper boxing match. You're saying.
So it will be a proper boxing match, because even last time the BJP got 300 plus seats, but their vote percentage was just about 37 or 38 or thereabouts, between 36 and 38. It's only in the national election when Mr. Modi is on the ticket that they got 50% plus vote in Uttar Pradesh. But this time, Modi is not on the ticket.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Shekhar.
And hopefully by that time, there'll be no third wave and we'll be traveling, because we really missed our usual travels during the Bengal elections and Assam elections and Tamil Nadu and the rest.
Okay, great.
And maybe you come out and travel with me also.
Yeah, well, let's go to one interesting place in UP. Okay, one very, very final question. If we were traveling in UP and you had to take me to a place and for a food, what place would that be and what dish would that be in UP?
Well, I think we have to start this all over again. But I think I'll take you someplace in Banaras and ask you whether you want to eat vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food. And we can find the best of both worlds there.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Okay, Chetan, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I know I don't even have to say, give you the best wishes for your book, because
no, they're always needed.
There anyway.
Thank you.
So it doesn't need any help from me. So congratulations again and stay well.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Print of the Cuff, presented by IIFL Wealth and Asset Management, powered by K. Raheja Corp, corporate partner AU Small Finance Bank, in association with Global Insurance Brokers, in alliance with Jindal Steel and Power Limited and Indraprastha Polo Hospitals, airline partner SpiceJet.